I'm just gonna do the time lapse.
What?
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be okay. Now we have to do, and it's time to go. I think that we all know that Johnny Boy is on his way. Jump in the car, Murphy is the gas. Doesn't take long before we hear the sirens blast. But we don't take calm, 'cause there ain't no way. Yeah, we all stay calm, 'cause there ain't none of those coppers gonna lock us up today. No way.
So on our jalopy, this is the hood latch, or hood handle latch, hood latch handle. It goes on to our hood ornament piece, which has our 85 for that whopping 85 horsepower they were bragging about in 39. And I'd like to see if I can clean it up at all. I'm not going to send it for chroming. I'm not buying the $400 new one. This is a jalopy. But I would like to see if I couldn't clean it up at least a little bit. You know, it's cast pot metal. And so, or chromed cast pot metal. So I want to try and clean it up, but I just don't want to spend any money on it. Isn't that always the case? But, you know, if I have to, I guess. It is out there. Looks like this little 85 emblem kind of pries off there. So there's our 85. That appears to be stainless, so that will clean up. And then we got our other piece, which won't clean up, but we're gonna see what happens. I think I'm gonna start off with maybe some 320 sandpaper. Let's see what that does. Well, we're being cut short a little bit today because the weather's getting nasty, so I had to bring all the blue truck stuff in. But that's kind of the side I worked on, and that's the side I didn't. So it's better, you know. At least it's kind of smooth, you know. This side, the pitting's so rough, it just kind of catches on your fingers and stuff, but at least this way it's a little bit smoother. I don't know if there's anything we can put on it to make it look worth a shit. There's a big old chipper right in the middle too. But yeah, we'll mess with it tomorrow when we don't have delicate little miss in the freaking way. It's hard when you got to get the nice stuff out of the shop, paint, let it dry, and then get the nice stuff back in the shop before the weather goes nasty. Well, with a little bit of sanding and polishing, that turned out really well. I mean, it's still just, you know, garbage, but I'm just amazed how well that cleaned up, and it feels nice. That was the big deal before, is when you touched it, those chrome pits almost cut you. But all I did was sanded it with 320, and then I buffed it on the bench. So from about 2 miles away, it looks like it's still chrome. So I consider that a win. Trying to do a quick and dirty on the 39. Had a lot of parts sandblasted and stripped. Some stuff I got ready for primer. Got this fender ready for primer. But this guy here, he's another whole nother deal. The cracks and the stuff in all of this, and this is supposed to be like out here. And check out this repair. We have rivets and some galvanized tin More galvanized tin. A big glob filler that's peeling out. And this goes in here and does this number. Look at all those cracks. These are all cracks. My lord. This piece right here, this is a good inch plus thick right there. And you can even see, like, that's a rivet coming through. That's a good crack. And then this area is just cut deep. This thing is just a train wreck. We're just gonna have to strip it out, make it right. I really can't be spending any time on this rig because it's just not worth that much. These things, you can find them for 18 grand in restored condition, you know. So to spend a bunch of time on it and then try to get, you know, even 12 grand out of it because it's not going to be great, it's kind of a stretch. I just can't bring myself to just mud over the mud or something like that. Alright, so we have giant holes. We have riveted in pieces. We have this area right here is so beat in out of shape. It might have caved real hard there and then they knocked it out and it just was still just so stretched. This we'll call the love triangle, and it is a piece that's welded in that's not the shape. It's like overlapping like that much and it's just making up this odd little piece. We have gas welding here, and this is just a mess. Look at those. That's where I haven't even cleaned out the filler because it's so deep. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of work from the back of the fender forward, because this and this are going to have something to say about how this goes. And then I just have a few things, littler things back here to fix. So I think that's how I'm gonna start. I'm looking for a shape to replace this front section. You could obviously make something, but it's very time consuming to make a compound curve like that. I'm kind of outfitted to do that here, but not entirely. I don't end up making a lot of compound curves that are that tight, and everything that I use around the shop here can do the less compound. But if I could find a shape that was already a compound curves, then that's a nice start. I think this guy might be our guy. It was an old inner fender well out of one of the panel trucks of Danny's. Hope he doesn't mind us borrowing it. Last night I replaced this piece, which had a riveted piece behind it, this piece which had that giant chunk of metal behind it, and this piece which was just, what they'd done was when it cracked, they just pushed the fender back and welded it so it would have a lap weld, and it screwed up the whole look of the curve of the fender. These are the pieces that was behind it. This piece of aluminum and riveted on there. This was the piece that was over backed for whatever reason, and those are spider eggs, I believe. The bent bumper hole for the bumper bracket to stick out, which was holding the fender in a twisted position. That little front triangle that we did was backed with this beauty. Another piece of aluminum backing a piece. And that piece that was cut up a billion times. And that's that overlap that I'm talking about. I never even saw it, but I knew what had happened there. And so that's overlapped that from there to about there. So, and then there's a metal round rod in the fender, which it happened a lot. A lot of people did that back in the day just to get their rig going and fenders not cutting tires and whatnot, get back on the road. It's kind of sitting where I feel like it's comfortable. When I'm saying comfortable, I'm not stretching this stuff a whole lot to get it to line up. You know, seems to be coming back into the same shape it was. We're even able to fold that center part over there. This area was a little rough. You know, it was telling me where that wanted to be, so I didn't want to get rid of it, at least for now. I'm sure I'm just going to leave it. We'll end up welding up these holes that all those rivets were in. The good thing is while we were working this started to line up again, which it was really twisted. You know, it really didn't want to be in the same kind of area as this guy. So we're doing something right. When stuff starts like lining up like that, things started moving around, kind of what I'd say relaxing into the place they originally were, you're doing something right. All right, look at that. It is, you know, rough. However, it's sealed, it's good. It'll take some filler, you know, and the filler won't mind. Not like the train wreck that it was. So it's what we can do with what we got. I'm proud of the shapes I made here. You know, basically saving a fender. Even got our stuff fixed up back here. Not an easy situation with a great solution, but you know, it'll accept the filler well. It'll crack somewhere, I'm sure. But that's future Kyle problems.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job,